It's like we're not going anywhere. Maybe it's because there's something in the air. And I don't even care. No, I don't even care anymore. It's like we're losing all track of time. I just got one thing on my mind. Baby, one day I'm hoping that you will be mine. Turn my life around. Wow. So where do we go when everything feels like it just stays the same? Where do we go from here when everything is said and done? This is what we do.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Why We Think series by the Pitchside Banter podcast. This show format is predicated on a substantive elucidation as to what we think about phenomena surrounding football as a whole or other relative phenomena that we may seek to shine a light upon. The premise is simple. We have a simple topic and we argue why we think it is the way it is, isn't, or should be. On our second episode tonight of the Why We Think series, we'll be discussing why we think FIFA is possibly a greedy institution. As the host of this particular episode,
Harrison, yours truly.
I'll set the scene and explain with some points why I'm arguing in favor of the topic, and my co-hosts, David and Canon, either buttress my points or disagree with me. Now, as you guys know, FIFA is the governing body association that also covers beach soccer and futsal. Having been formed in 1904, it regulates the rules of play, organizes international competitions, and establishes standards for refereeing, coaching, and sports medicine for over 211 member associations. More importantly, at times, FIFA tends to award licenses to host their suite of competitions to interested host cities and countries. In a variety of ways, FIFA began to prioritize corporate sponsorship via advertising campaigns and hosting licenses for cities/countries after 1974. Now, we all can recall, or some of you may recall, the FIFA corruption case of 2015, where the FBI initially arrested Sepp Blatter, who was a senior CONCACAF member for the Americas in 2010, and then filed the case against FIFA in 2015 via the via the U.S. Department of Justice New York branch or division. Now, a lot has been made really about some of the competitions that FIFA has been broadening or expanding. Some of the Club World Cup expansion plans, which some of us really, we saw how that played out with Real Madrid recently, how, Real Madrid almost didn't go for the last competition. I don't know if you guys recall that. And even Man City and some of the extra time with extra playing time that the players have been really clamoring against, because the more competitions that's being opened, the more wear and tear it puts on the players. People like Rafael Varane, retiring at 31 years old, and after he was complaining severely about how much he has to play and what have you, and how that really affects the welfare of players. But we all know what happens when FIFA actually expands competitions. What does that do? It gives them more money. When FIFA actually goes ahead and awards licenses to two countries at the same time for 2 to even sometimes 3 competition seasons ahead to make more money, right? It really shows and really put into perspective some of the difficulties, just some of the greedy examples that someone could provide about this institution. Let's start with you, David. Do you have some examples of FIFA being greedy that perhaps makes my points perhaps a bit more palatable to you,
or corrupt?
Well, corruption is symptomatic of greed, isn't it? Corruption is
but I need your question to be specific, because corruption is more broad than greed.
Well,
so
let's
which
go.
one are we
Yeah,
going with? I know they're linked.
they're-
I want to know which one he prefers for the question.
Let's.
Better.
The corruption is definitely an example of said greed that we're talking about, right? So perhaps you could use some corruption instances, perhaps if you have to offer.
Okay, so I'm going to say I agree and I disagree. So I have two takes on your opinion on FIFA
Okay.
being greedy. Now, I agree in the terms of course, we have multiple instances whereby we are like, I mean, how can FIFA have done this? Is this in the best interest of football? And stuff like that. Various awards, extra competition. For example, we have the Nations League. Nobody really gives it down, but we're still doing it because at the end of the day, it's tied into the way the world works in general. An elite few make the decisions, and the rest of us follow. That's basically how it is. So yes, FIFA is corrupt. Now let's talk about some particular instances. I mentioned the Nations League, but let's even go in terms of hiring corrupt officials. Having corrupt people in places of power. For example, the last FIFA president was still FIFA president while being on trial for corruption in court. He was in court answering to his cases, and he was still
Sepp Blatter,
the FIFA president. So I think, and as I told you, it's not down to FIFA alone. It's not down to football. Now, where I say I disagree is in the fact that, look, human beings are in this position. Every human being has their biases and has their, so I don't think it's something that I would say it's not surprising. It's not something that I'm like, these people are like from hell, or they have a ulterior motive against football, or they hate football. I just think it comes with the game, If you take the sandwich, you have to, if you eat the sandwich, you taste everything inside of it, the good and the bad stuff. So.
Yeah. Okay, Canon, before you, just to even provide a bit more context in terms of what we talk about greediness and corruption, what have you, I'd like to really touch on just a quick example, especially with regards to the 2015 corruption case that the U.S. Department of Justice brought against FIFA. In 2011, Vidra Al-Majid, who was part of the successful 2022 Qatari World Cup bid, came forward as a whistleblower. She claimed that Qatar paid $1.5 million to the African Football Confederation president, Issa Hayatu, an Ivory Coast FIFA member, Jacques Anouma, and Nigeria's suspended official, Imos Adamu, to vote for Qatar. She later stated that she had fabricated her claims for media attention, but later on, in November 2014, she stated that she was coerced into withdrawing her allegations as she feared for her safety due to her lack of legal representation at the time. As of June 2015, she was in FBI protective custody when she stated that the FBI has everything. There are people who are annoyed with me for speaking out, and what really irks them is that I'm a female Muslim whistleblower. I just don't think Blatter actually intends to quit. Everything he does is very calculated. He will try very hard to save himself. She said she was sure of it. Now, there's also another example I can also give to you. In the wake of the corruption case, it was reported that in 2008, the General Secretary of FIFA, Jérôme Valcke, was alleged to have transferred $10 million that had been given to FIFA by Danny Jordan, the president of the South African Football Association, to accounts controlled by Jack Warner, then head of CONCACAF. The payment is a key piece of American prosecutors' indictment that accuses Warner of taking a bribe in exchange for helping South Africa secure the rights to host the 2010 FIFA World Cup.
Crazy.
What I'm trying to make is this. We have, when we talk about greed and why we're talking about greediness and what have you, it's basically trying to explain how money has exchanged hands in favor of a particular deal, which is just predicated only on just the money that FIFA is supposed to be getting. So the only reason why FIFA is actually getting said money or getting said, advances or what have you, is purely because of how much that they seem to be getting or benefiting from these so-called shady deals. So, kind of in light of that, and when we talk about greediness, this is what we're talking about. This is what we mean by greediness. This is what we mean by, okay, it is money in hand.
So you're talking monetary.
That for you. Yeah, exactly. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
Okay.
So
yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you 100%. In fact, There's nothing that has to do with FIFA that doesn't have to do with money. Everything
Mm,
has to do with money. Fine money, hosting money, allocation of
mm,
funds money. FIFA is
mm.
money.
It's all money.
Anything FIFA wants to do tomorrow, it is the highest bidder. Honestly speaking,
Yeah.
you you
Yeah,
you
all
can't
these
you can't
tournaments, they all cost money.
Nah, let me even say this. You can't even tell me in their FIFA in their right senses. Normally, where World Cups are normally meant to be hosted are countries that are football mad. That has
Mm,
been the model of hosting World Cups for years now. Countries and
yeah.
continents that are football mad. You can't tell me Saudi
Yeah.
Arabia are football mad. But where was the World Cup hosted? Or Asia? That's part of Asia are football
Arabians like
mad like
football,
that.
oh.
They like football, but you can't compare. Number one, when you want to host a tournament, you look at the population of people there, and you look at the geopolitical zone where you are going to host a tournament. Asia and that part of those Arab people, that specific part, they don't even have. When you talk about footballing rights, they don't even have that just say footballing rights, not even the money aspect. They don't have a right to say, I want to host a World Cup. For what? No. If we are in our right senses, like if we are just talking of countries that are qualified to host the World Cup, my brother, Saudi
Mm,
Arabia and those other Qatar that they did that last World Cup, they won't be in the top 50. Why? There are so many factors there in terms of footballing terms. Like you look at the region there, the people there, what they stand for, how many, like
So
when did
so
they even
let
start
me
playing
let me
playing
just play
tournaments to that
devil's
certain level,
advocate here real quick,
you
bro.
know?
Because the point of FIFA, or you can say one of their duties, is you are the footballing organization of the world. So in places where
mm-hmm.
football is not as prominent, I think it's actually an encouraging thing for them to go there and host
One
events
of
there and carry
one
the
of
culture of football there. So I think
Yes,
when we're
fine.
talking about I think when we're discussing their corruption, I don't think talking
Uh,
about this is the particular thing we should hinge on, because going around to where football is not even primary and taking it there and carrying the fans there, carrying the history there, I think it's
it's
a way of
fine.
spreading the sport, you know.
I'm telling you, Rose, right, David, if Nigeria comes up tomorrow, right, and we
We
have
don't have the money
as
now.
much, thank you, and we have as much logistics as these people, we have as much clout as these people, we have as much everything as these
Mm,
people, and we say
mm.
tomorrow, see, we want to host 2026 World Cup. We can't do anything about how much. You tell them how much it is. I'm telling you, this Infantino will not even blink twice. He will say, "Oh, it's been a while since the World Cup has been hosted in Africa. I think it is high time we bring it back to Africa because Africa deserves the World Cup." You will start finding things to say. The same way he said Qatar, he feels what? Said he feels Qatari. That's what he said. He feels Qatari. Like what sort of statement is
So
that?
are you saying that
Because
like
of
they
the
should want to carry it regardless of the money?
no, that is not what I'm saying. Me and Harrison are saying the same thing. That FIFA works with money. If there's no money, there's no FIFA. So it is where the money leads that FIFA goes to. The reason FIFA is going to be going back to the USA, not America, there's a reason why. USA are one of, when it comes to the eyes of the world, when it comes to entertainment, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to broadcasting, when it comes to media, when it comes to the money that comes with it, you know, one Super Bowl, the money they pay for Super Bowl rights and all that is more than the money earned in the Premier League. It's way more than that. I show you the amount of trademarks and rights and all those things. You are into law now, so you understand how this thing works when it comes to sales and marketing and all that. America it is that the American can tell FIFA, pitch FIFA, tell them all these things, and FIFA won't have any choice but to oblige because it is their purse that comes first. FIFA normally the model of FIFA was always meant to be football justice and fairness. where you know that is what the FIFA model was always meant to be, but it has turned to something else. It is football pause and how much you have.
Yeah, yeah. So the thing is this here. How we could conceptualize this is very simple. FIFA is supposed to have a set number of principles and policies that guides how it actually awards licenses to countries to host, for example. However, when we're talking about greed here, we're talking about how instances like bribery and some vested interests, or whether it's direct or indirect bribery, sometimes leads to FIFA making some decisions that doesn't actually, like Canon said, contribute to the promotion of football and justice and fairness of it all. You could talk about how it expands competitions, even though it's actually not in the best interest of both fans and players, because sometimes you can have an oversaturation of football product on TV. So we're looking at all of this and as examples, as of the so-called greediness that we're talking about. But just to buttress everything up and just quickly end this on this note, it's very clear to say, it's very easy to say that FIFA is a greedy institution. But how are they greedy? We are saying they're greedy in ways in which they expand so-called contemporary competitions that actually don't have that much appeal from fans, and in many ways, that affect the health and careers of a lot of football players. We talk about also how they accept a lot of monies up front, through indirect means sometimes, at least as allegedly posed by some court cases, and that influences how they award licenses for World Cup hosting and things of that nature. As you guys know, the 2026 World Cup will not just be hosted by United States of America, it's also be hosted by Canada and I believe Mexico. So 3 countries hosting at once. Why do they do that? Because there's enough infrastructure in the US stadiums to actually host it. But, there's more money if 3 of them come up together at once, and then they can move from country to country, having different TV rights markets to play with. So these are issues. These are some of the things that we talk about greediness. Is the bottom line, the money, the profits matters more than the rest of what football is actually supposed to be. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for being here today. This is the Why We Think series. We thank you guys so much for the comments we got on our last episode. So please make sure to like, share, subscribe. We'll be back next week with another episode for sure. And yeah, we'll hope to see you guys soon. Take care.